You're listening to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. You've read the stories of the drivers and others involved in the sport that we all love. Now hear their stories firsthand via our all-new podcast to find out how their passion for motorsports has made life worth living.
You know, I'm excited because I picked up a new video game today.
Yes, you got a gory video game.
It's the Mortal Kombat 11, 13, whatever, I don't know.
I don't know. There's been a lot of Mortal Kombats. I mean, it's been out since I was at the end of high school, into college, and it's 2019, so I don't want to say when I graduated, but it was a long time ago.
Why? You got to make me feel old.
I was talking about myself being old. What are you talking about? But
I'm just saying, I'm excited because I get to play Mortal Kombat, which is a technologically advanced video game.
And his son plays video games all the time, so he's probably going to be
He's not
killing
going to
his
play
dad
it.
all
Yeah,
night.
no, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to let him play it, but Ryan and I will be playing it. And it's
Well,
kind of
she's
our
your
stress
fiance,
relief.
so she'll be cutting your head off all night.
Oh, she'll be destroying me. I don't stand a chance. She's so talented and funny. But it makes me think of the engineering that went behind that game ties into the engineering and foresight and development of the guy that we're talking to tonight.
Yes, and it's incredible. The gentleman we're going to be speaking to tonight, he's not even, I mean, you know, he's not your typical engineer. He didn't go to school for years. He didn't train in any of this stuff. I mean,
No.
he dropped out in high school at 15, got his GED at 16, and is a self-taught inventor. And not only is he a self-taught inventor, and yes, I know this is racing, so don't worry, this is racing related.
It's racing. Yo, it's absolutely racing.
But he is making a difference in so many people's lives. I mean, such a positive difference. I mean, who does that?
And here's the kicker. Not that it matters, because
No,
it doesn't.
it doesn't.
It doesn't matter one bit. He's quadriplegic.
I know.
And he's invented something that has revolutionized not only racing,
But the automotive
industry
Yeah.
as a whole. This dude is sitting on, I don't want to say a gold mine. He is sitting on a diamond mine.
It really is. And for those that, you know, these automotive industries that haven't gotten the equipment like this yet, where are you? Hello?
Yeah.
I mean, no wonder you're losing money. You're bleeding money because you don't have what you need.
Yeah. We're excited
Hello.
to talk to Mario Bonfante Jr. Bonfante.
Bonfante.
Bonfante,
Yes,
Bonfante.
we had to
Bonfante.
practice because we had to practice. And Chris and I need to go to speech therapy.
Well, yeah. See, but I'm from
because we don't
South
pronounce
Boston.
things right.
I ain't no helping this. It's gonna be Bonfante. I mean, it's gonna be horrible no matter what I say. I can't say water to save my damn life. So, welcome to the latest edition of Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. You've read the stories. You've heard us talk to folks. If you follow the podcast, you know that the last one we had Brian Hannaford, we had Shane Mill, and we were talking about adaptive motorsports and the very special event that happened in Richmond on April 9th. Lily, tell me a little bit about that. Because I didn't get a chance to go because, you know, I'm pulled in so many different directions.
Yeah, well, he's making that excuse. They don't allow him in Virginia. I'm just saying.
Look, it's
He's
still
from
under
South
litigation. Okay.
He has to hide. He can't come to Virginia.
I actually do. I can't cross the state line legally.
Yeah.
It's a mix-up.
He wanted me to hide him in my trunk, but I just didn't feel good about it.
They search him now when they
I
come
know
across
it. And it was storming that night, so I just knew something bad was going to happen.
I don't know. But anyway, no, it's such a great event.
It was such an amazing event. I mean, with some of the most upbeat bunch of guys that I've ever met. I mean, there were so many guys there that, you know, they get out of their cars and you think, there's no way. I mean, why would somebody think that they could drive a car or do anything else? But, oh my gosh. And you'd think that they were going to be down and blue because of what's happened to them. No. Oh my gosh, they were so inspiring, so upbeat. And they didn't even care about themselves. They were like, okay, I'm here to help everybody else here, but myself. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I mean, we're talking quadriplegics, we're talking, you know, paralyzed veterans, we're talking amputees. I mean, I met this incredible guy who is going to be doing some incredible artwork for me, which I am very excited about. You'll find out about that later. It's in the process.
Okay. Wait a minute, this ain't like some Leonardo DiCaprio from
No,
Titanic.
it's not Titanic.
Okay.
No. Ellen, you don't want anybody drawing this. It's scary. No.
I mean,
no.
I mean, I'm just saying. No,
No,
look, she's absolutely being facetious.
No.
She's lovely, but I mean, I don't.
No, it's got
Okay.
nothing to do with that.
Okay, because I just had one of them done. I thought maybe we could get them matching. That's where I was going.
I don't even want to see yours. That's got to be
Well,
scary.
the artist was blind. He used sound recognition to do it,
Oh, God.
which was, I mean, I think it's pretty representative.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know Andy Warhol.
Hello. Probably looks like a soup can.
I walk around here looking like a busted can of biscuits.
But it was an amazing event, and unfortunately, our guest that you're going to meet tonight was not there, and due to an unforeseen health complication. Unfortunately, our buddy Shane didn't get to make it either due to a health complication.
Shane, we love you, buddy.
That's all right. We still, hey, I spent almost an hour on the phone with Shane at the event, so it was like he was there. What else?
Hey, he's giving away, and speaking of, you know, we can't bypass this.
Yeah.
He mentioned on the last podcast here on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com, giving away a trip to the Indianapolis 500.
He better be taking me. I'm sorry, people that want to, register for this, but I'm really hoping he's going to give me the award because I really want to go to the Indy 500.
Details are
He
coming.
probably won't. He'll probably tell me I'm not eligible, so don't worry. But the guy we're going to speak to tonight, he was a big part of this event, and he is a self-taught mechanical designer who has designed this steering wheel for paralyzed drivers, and not only paralyzed drivers but amputees and all that. And he's actually going to take all these paralyzed drivers all the way to the Paralympics. I don't care what anybody says, it's going to happen.
It's going to
I
happen.
am so excited.
It's going to happen. So we are super excited to be speaking with Mario Bonfante Jr. And that's coming up next right here on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com.
Attention racers, race fans, and gearheads. If you're looking to buy, sell, or trade the stuff that stokes your engine, then check out RacingJunk.com. RacingJunk.com is the world's #1 online racing and performance classifieds, where you'll find what you need to rock your ride. Check us out at RacingJunk.com. Racing and performance classifieds built to go fast.
Welcome back to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. Little E, Chris Young, we are here, and we're excited to have on the phone with us Mario Bonfante Jr. Mario, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ellen got a chance to go to the event in Richmond. I didn't.
Yes.
But Ellen, take it away. His story is phenomenal.
Yes. For those of you who have been following the podcast, you know that there was a big event in Richmond recently at Southside Speedway with Adaptive Motorsports. It wasn't some big race where you go to some big drag race like with the NHRA and the ZMAX thing coming up, but it was a really special event because it was getting a lot of drivers back behind the wheel who may not usually get to drive. I mean, there were some there that do drive daily drivers, but these are like paralyzed drivers and veterans who, now are amputees and are now living their lives in a different way, but they're living it so incredibly. I was so completely blown away and amazed at how well these gentlemen, each one of them, and I would say ladies too, but it was just gentlemen that were there. I think there were only 3 of us ladies there, and all of us were just there as support staff. But all these gentlemen that were there that were coming back from some pretty incredible experiences to just relive life in a new way, and not only relive life, but be inspirations to others. And while Mario unfortunately did not get to attend, but wanted to due to a last-minute emergency, I got to hear all about Mario. And believe me, Mario, when I'm saying this, you got a ton of kudos from everyone there, and everybody was telling me, this is the guy you need to meet. And I'm like, I know. I was planning on him being the first one I wanted to meet. So everybody was singing your praises. Everybody wanted you there, and you were there in spirit with all of us because Mario is doing something pretty incredible to put paralyzed drivers back behind the wheel. And I mean, not only drivers, but racers in general.
Right.
And the one thing that was really cool about this Adaptive Motorsports event as well, not only was it inspiring people to show them that they can do anything regardless of a disability, it was also giving these drivers a chance to maybe become Olympic athletes someday. Maybe not them, but it's this Adaptive
Bringing it to the
Motorsports-
forefront.
Exactly. This Adaptive Motorsports program, their goal is to get put athletes, paralyzed athletes and other athletes that, maybe amputees or whatever, behind the wheel in the Paralympics.
Right.
And I can definitely see this happening. I mean, racing should be in the Paralympics. I mean, everything else is. Why not? I mean, this would be incredible. And watching these guys drive, I had an opportunity to get behind the wheel with a gentleman who was a triple amputee. And I'm telling you, I couldn't tell the difference. And actually, he was a better driver than some guys I know that have
I'm sure.
every limb.
Right.
So it was
now, Mario,
incredible.
do you feel like, at some point we will have racing in the Paralympics?
I sure hope so. I mean, there's definitely a lot of, I call them the forgotten demographic, because, I mean, a lot of the reason people are in chairs or situations that they're in that are catastrophic are usually because they're pushing boundaries and pushing limits past the normal human being, and those people don't usually get an outlet anymore. So now that the whole opportunities available and the technology's advanced so much that those people are coming out of the shadows, and I think that people are going to be surprised at what these differently challenged athletes are going to be able to do, and not only on a level of competing against each other, but also challenging able-bodied athletes, and that's where I'm looking to hopefully accommodate them with proper technology to do so.
Now, Mario, before we get into the sweet technology, which we teased on the last podcast here Behind the Wheel, tell me about your background and history in motorsports.
Man, that's a long history. So I've been in it pretty much all my life. I don't really know any different. So I've been racing. I started with BMX bicycles when I was a kid, just because my parents couldn't afford to get me into motocross, which was actually the ideal situation with racing and learning body awareness and jumping through the air and figuring out how to operate and just maneuver and use my body as opposed to just weight and such. So I started with BMX, got into motocross from there, and from there I graduated into road racing street bikes, and that was by accident. And from there, got my professional license when I was 16 years old. I started doing that really well throughout the ranks in that really quickly. Doors started flying open, and unfortunately, I decided to breach contract, just kind of being me and not knowing any limits and pushing boundaries too much, and
not gonna be
got back on bicycle. Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty stupid. It was honestly just the ego thing, and the whole just me not agreeing with my own abilities and just wanting to participate kind of thing. So I actually showed up at somebody's third camp.
All the time. I mean, there's a reason why Ryan Seacrest is where he is and I am where I am. It's because I said, you know what? No to the soul-stealing contract. I wasn't going to do it and be the pretty boy on TV like he is.
Pretty? You're pretty.
Yeah, no.
I told you you're pretty. No.
My mom.
Of course she did.
My mom tells me the same thing all the time.
Yeah, there's a difference, Mario. You are pretty. I've seen videos of you. You are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Chris is.
I look like I ran a 100-yard dash in a 90-yard gym. That's kind of the. It's kind of the.
Yeah, no. But we're all special, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But yeah, so it was a little bit of an interesting turn in my life at that point when I just got on the bicycle, ended up breaking my neck, and from there it was just I wasn't done. So I just basically decided that, I mean, I didn't decide. I woke up in the hospital. I had a full out-of-body experience. It was kind of crazy. Don't really recall the first 2 weeks of any of it. And yeah, it was really, really crazy. I mean, I remember floating over the whole situation like a movie, watching it, and watching them strap me in the gurney, watching the fire truck get there, watching just the whole thing go down. I never lost consciousness once, because according to the paramedics, they asked me all the typical knock yourself out question, like what day is it, what's your name, what's your date of birth, all that stuff, and I answered them completely correct, but I had no recollection of any of it.
Wow.
And I was just watching it from above, and just remember this really bright entity just asked me, do you want to stay or do you want to go? I'm like, well, what kind of question is that? I'm not done yet. Like, of course I want to stay. And then from that moment forward, it was just I snapped back in my body. I remember apologizing to my parents. That's like the one thing I remember from that perspective, was laying on the gurney looking up at them, and they're like, what are you apologizing for? And I knew I disrespected their wishes of not riding a bicycle, not getting on a motorcycle, not doing things I wasn't supposed to do, because I had people paying for me to do what I wanted to do, and was essentially living my dream and woke up from my worst nightmare. So it was I didn't know what I did. I didn't know what was different. I didn't know what the next phase in life had in store for me, but I knew essentially it was going to be a lot different than what I had had going on at that point in time, and it was because of the decision I made to get on that bicycle that day. So
did anybody believe you when you told them that? I mean,
that you had an out-of-body experience?
Yeah.
Now it's been pretty common for a lot of people to think that a lot more accepted. I don't know about at the time. Everyone at the time when I woke up, everyone thought I was crazy. And they thought I was nuts in general because I told them to have the bikes ready for Daytona because that's what I was getting ready for. And
right.
I told my dad to tell the sponsors, everyone, that we're good to go. I mean, I've woken up in the hospital several times, so it was nothing new to me. It's like, let's get this rehab process started. Let's start moving forward. We got work to do. We got to get going. And they're like, no, I don't think you understand the extent of the injury this time. It's a little bit more entailed than what you actually are understanding. And so when they said I was a quadriplegic, I didn't even know what a quadriplegic was. They're just like, and I thought being in a wheelchair, it was from the waist down. There's no different like levels of injury. So it was new to me and completely from A to Z. And so I don't know. I wasn't done. I didn't care how I was going to race. I didn't know what I was going to race or how I was going to even do it. But I'm like, I'll race a spaceship. I'll race a submarine. I'll race a helicopter. It doesn't matter. I want to go fast. I want to have fun. I want to.
Red October. Yeah.
Now, how old were you when all that went down?
17.
Wow. Dude, you hadn't even started yet.
Career.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I started, but I just started getting real serious.
Wow.
And so it was like I just signed my contract for the following season, and it was when things were starting to really, like everything that I worked my entire life for, it finally started to come together and basically be a reality, and be a reality of actually becoming a professional racer as my job and as my dream and goal since I was a young child. So that was right when I woke up, and I said I wasn't done. I got to keep moving forward. And at that point in time, I hadn't seen the extent that I was able to accomplish that I knew in my mind that I still could. And that's almost what drives me today, is still knowing that I'm still able to do so much more and haven't got to actually experience or just, I guess, try or challenge myself in that direction. So that's one of the things that keeps me moving forward, to keep chasing the dream. And I think a lot of athletes, a lot of people that have the same mentality, it's just a personal understanding of what you're capable of doing at that point in time, and then what you're still capable of doing, because you don't understand fully as a young kid, for one, and as an athlete in general, you don't accept limits. And I think that's what makes a professional or even a champion, mainly, because there's the mediocre, there's the weekend warrior, but there's also the next level of committed racer that it takes to actually become world champion, which was what I was set after. And that's the goal and crossroads I had in mind.
So. Champion state too. So how did you go from I can do anything, I put my mind to having doctors tell you you're going to be in a wheelchair, you've got limits now, and you may be immobile, you may have a catheter. How did you go from I can do anything, I'm a 17-year-old phenom, I could race anybody, I could beat anybody? How did you go from that to
overcoming that
huge obstacle of them telling you, most doctors, and there are some doctors that do have that belief that you can still do, but there are some that are, you need to be careful, you've got limits now, there's only so much you can do. How did you overcome that, that doctor telling you, no, you can't?
I thought they were crazy. I just didn't believe them. They started listing off a whole laundry list of things that I'm no longer able to do anymore. You're no longer able to be independent. You can't do this. You can't be by yourself. You can't, just everything in the world that I could possibly live. I'm just like, well, is there anything you can do? Can I still have kids? Can I still race? Can I? I'm just like asking, like, nope, sorry, you're fragile. You're like a porcelain doll. I'm like, no, I'm really not.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I hear doctors say that kind of thing all the time. You have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. And I'm just thinking, as a racer and as somebody who has been in an accident like this, they start telling you this. I mean, it's hard to keep telling yourself, I can still do it even though they think I can't. Like, I couldn't, I'm hoping I would, but I don't know that right away. I think I would kind of fall down for a minute and be like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't. So I'm just so inspired. Yeah, and to be honest,
it was the most humbling thing I've ever been through in my entire life, to be honest. It was just having my mom pick my nose and tell her where the booger was, and to the left, to the right, and how to scratch my face. And it was definitely humbling. And it was like, but in my mind, it's like I even told my grandma, and I mean, at that point in time, I was still all doped up and just on a bunch of crazy drugs or whatever they had me on. And I told her, don't worry, Graham, God's got a plan for me, and I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And she goes to my parents and tells them, this kid's crazy. He's going to need therapy. He's in denial. He's got psychiatric problems, blah, blah, blah.
Why is it when people have faith, people think we're crazy?
Right. Well, I mean, let's not lump you in with us
I'm
people.
nothing like him.
I mean, just in general.
No.
Lily's a little special herself.
I am. A little scary.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, and it's 17 years old. When I take a look around now and I work with a lot of, younger people. And then when I was in broadcasting, I used to have a lot of interns at the college level, and just getting them to be in on time was an act of Congress. Yeah. And here's a guy who broke his neck, paralyzed, and is like, no, not stopping me. Shohei it. No excuses. Yeah. Play like a champion.
Exactly.
I mean, I say that line all the time, Mario. You embody that 100%.
Exactly. He's got that so Nike mentality, doesn't he?
Well,
just do it.
Just do it. And you know what? I think that actually led to his reason and purpose behind inventing what he invented.
Right.
So let's go ahead and let's pull the veil off of that dress. Mario, tell us a little bit about what drove you into saying, you know what, we need to create something.
I mean, like I said, I wasn't done. I wasn't giving up, and there was nobody doing it. So, I mean, I'm sitting down for multiple reasons, and this is one of them. So I'm just doing my job. I know I'm here for a reason. So when I started looking online and YouTube and people that were racing or different options I had as far as driving or doing things that are competitive and all these different things, and this was a little over 12 years ago now. So there wasn't anyone doing it. And for me, it was kind of mind-blowing. And then I didn't even know what hand controls looked like, for one. They just said hand controls, and I'm just like, okay, sure, whatever. And so at that point in time, it was just, I had no concept of how I was even going to get dressed, let alone feed myself. But it was just some type of, I guess, I don't know, God or whatever in my mind telling me that you're going to be able to do something and you're here for a bigger purpose. And just sit down for a second. It's like I've been going 200 miles my entire life. And then all of a sudden he's like, you need to sit down for a minute. Let me talk to you because we got some things to go over, because you've been doing your thing a little too crazy, a little too out over the limit this whole time. So from there, it was just a complete learning experience from that day forward, and more internally than it was externally, because it wasn't very difficult for me to do many things my entire life, and that may sound arrogant, but I can pick up pretty much whatever I wanted to do, whether it was with music or sports or whatever it was, whatever it was.
That's not arrogant at all.
I'm a terrible spectator.
No, not at all.
You're a self-taught inventor, freaking rock star racer that is doing 1 billion times more than 90% of the people I know who aren't immobilized.
Exactly. I mean,
but that's a personal choice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you go? I mean, you had a passion for two wheels. You had a passion for BMX. How did you take that and become paralyzed and decide, I'm going to drive a car? Not only drive a car, he could have gone into something like stock cars or whatever. He started drift driving, which I think is awesome, because
is that Too Fast, Too Furious stuff?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Like The Rock, Paul Walker, and Vin Diesel.
They're fake doing it. He's real doing it. That's just the difference.
Well, I would think Vin Diesel can't speak a sentence. I mean, I could seriously think he can actually drive a drift car, like Tokyo Famous or whatever. I mean, how did you get into that?
Well, actually, I just drift for fun. I mean, it's not really what I race. So I actually got into road racing originally. And then drifting is just something I've done as a kid, just messing around since I was young, getting sideways and from the streets, unfortunately. But it's just, so it's something I've always known how to do. And when I got back into racing, I wanted to race on the tracks that I had raced on prior to my injury. So it wasn't a question. It wasn't that I didn't want to go on an oval or whatever it was. I grew up on a road race track. I grew up in motocross. I grew up sliding around. I grew up sideways, and that was just the reality of my mentality. And so it wasn't hard to adapt to it. My brain knew how to do it. It was just figuring out how to translate what my brain was telling my body to do, and my body no longer being able to respond the way it used to. So we're almost poisoned in a way growing up, saying that there's one way to do things. Like, here's your fork, here's your spoon, this is how you eat your meal. Here's a round doorknob, you twist it with your fingers. If your fingers don't work, there's no doorknobs that ever invented that way. It'd be a lever everywhere, and there'd be no stairs if nobody could walk. It's just the outlook that you kind of have to just develop, I guess, and realize there's 10 ways to skin a cat, and figure out the best way that works for you. And so for me, I knew how to do it. It was just now figuring out how to do it the best to my ability with the things and muscle groups and the abilities that I have personally given as a quadriplegic. So it didn't happen right off the bat as fast as I would like, unfortunately, but I think it was actually fortunate, because if I were to have raced, say, Daytona, I wasn't training to go participate in Daytona. I was going to win Daytona. And if that were the case as well, I would have had different backing. I mean, I was going to realize that actual business in the industry and how quickly sponsors wrote me off and said, okay, well, you can't really help us anymore. Let us know when you're better. Let us know when you're able to represent us on the level that we're looking to be represented at, and good luck and best of luck to you, and
really
blah, 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 the whole deal. So it was, it's business. So it's it wasn't a personal thing. It's just that's the reality of the industry.
Yeah.
So, but if I would have gone and raced Daytona and I'd actually won, or, I mean, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have. I was cool with the mentality that I was going into it to win. I don't go out to participate. Like I said, I go out to
win.
Have a problem with losing.
Yeah.
So
let me go ahead and clarify something too. You said there's 10 ways to skin a cat.
Okay.
I need to clarify that for little E, the animal lover over here. All right, so cats have 9 lives. Okay. So to really get to the root of it, you got to do 10. So, so Mario, tell me about your first road race.
My first road race, that was interesting as well. I'd never even seen a road race for one. Just like I said, I got into it by accident. But I had to start in the back of the grid. The way that the actual racing format was set up, there was no qualifying, and it was called AFM, so it's like the local level racing before you get to AMA, and now it's World Superbike. But you have to earn your way up to the front, and so I started in 52nd on my first race, and I didn't want to start back there the next race. So they're like, all right, well, pass as many people as you can in the first race, and next race we would start further up. So I took that personally into heart and passed as many people as I could, and ended up 8th. So it was a sprint race. So within 6 laps, I went from 52nd to 8th. And then the next race, I was able to keep moving forward. I actually have a picture on my third race on the front line with my yellow plate, because as a rookie, you get a yellow plate, or a novice, or whatever you want to call it. And everyone else has white plates, the professional and whatever local pros. So I remember the announcer clearly saying, like, who is this kid with the yellow plate on the front line? Like, where did he come from? And according to everybody else, I came from the wrong background with motocross and all of that. I mean, I just always had my own way of doing things. So the doctors and the nurses always had a problem with that, because I just told them I'd figure it out my own way. And that's just kind of just been my life story as far as how I do everything. Is I have my own way of doing it, and we all have our own way of doing it. And I watch and I observe, and I kind of adapt, and I just apply what's useful and discard what isn't. And I think we all just need to learn to do that and make our own sauce and add it to the table.
Is that how you got over the what if situation? And let me explain that a little bit. So I volunteer and I work with the VA a lot. And I work with, a lot of wounded warriors, and 99.9% of them never bring up the what if. But there's usually, the 1 or 2 individuals who say, well, if had this not happened, I would have been a X, Y, and Z. Whereas the others, they don't let that stop them from accomplishing the goal. I just keep thinking back to at the age of 17, here we are 12, 13 years later, however far along we are, you could have easily been sitting there going, well, what if?
I mean, I made the decision. We all know what we sign up for when we get out there. And maybe if I had been taken out by a drunk driver, or if I had some other outstanding situation take me out of the game, then it may be harder to be accepted. But for me, it was everything happens for a reason, and that's how I live my life. And I made the choice to get on that bicycle that day, so I can't blame anybody but myself. And I didn't put myself in any situation I didn't think I can get myself out of. So it was a freak accident that happened for the most part, and it was just I didn't have time to have a what if question in my head, because I knew I was getting old in reality as far as racing goes, and if I was going to make anything happen, I had to happen today or yesterday. So I had to just keep moving forward, and everyone else just wanted to kind of dwell on it and think about the whole what if thing, and I'm just like, I didn't have time for that. So
once again,
I don't
excuses, play like a damn champion.
That's right.
I love it. All right, speaking of, I got to know about this steering wheel, man.
Yeah. Was your first road race, did you have a steering wheel like what you're developing now, or did you have to kind of just go with a hand control device and that helped you figure out how to create the steering wheel that you're starting to create now?
Well, I didn't have it in my car. I had started developing it on a go-kart, actually, just because it was a little bit cheaper and easier to do.
That makes sense.
So I had it in my mind, and I knew how I wanted to develop it, but I just didn't know the procedure of actually creating a product. Like I said, I wasn't an engineer. I got kicked out of school when I was 15, and took my GED when I was 16. So I didn't have that whole understanding as far as engineering goes. I mean, I had a really good understanding as far as mechanical aspects and all that because of my dad being a mechanic by trade, and just I've been a fabricator from learning from him and everything else. So it's from that aspect, it was very easy to understand the common mechanics of everything that goes along with it. And on a bike, it's a little easier than a car, but in a car, I had the typical hand control setup that you probably saw in Richmond, or something similar to it, where you have one hand on the wheel, one hand on the gas and brake.
Right.
And I was able to go out on the track and only able to push the car about 60%, just because I didn't want to go over the limit and not be able to recover. And not only that, you're only able to control the throttle and the brakes, not the gear shift points, which are crucial in my opinion. I drive the car a lot with the transmission as opposed to the brakes, and it's just you can't have the car in the proper RPM range. You can't brake the way that you want. There's just a lot of variables that come into play when you're not able to use all the different components in the vehicle to control it properly like you could with your feet and hands. So from there, in my head, I knew what muscle group worked the best, and for me at least, and physics in general as far as racing goes, and developed them around that. So it was something where I knew that I was going fast enough to win my class at the time, which was just time attack, but it was not fast enough that I knew that I was possibly able to do it. And I still had a lot more in my mind and a lot more in reality that I knew that I can achieve. And there was nothing available that was out there that had been done like that before. So going from that portion of it to actually creating the product was even more difficult than actually getting on track and driving in general, just because nobody believed it was possible. Like I said, I didn't know the process of creating a product. I go to a different machine shop or different machine. I went to like 30 different machine shops in my local area and asked them. I had rudimentary drawings. I've drawn my entire life, so I just kind of drew up what was in my head so I can get the concept on paper so people can understand what I was talking about when I was explaining it to them. And they'd look at me and they'd go to shake my hand, and they'd reach out and shake my hand, and my fingers don't work, so they'd look at me with a kind of funny look, and like, and you want to do what? You want to race a car? Like, you can't even shake my hand, let alone hold a pencil or a steering wheel. How are you going to race a car?
So close.
So they're like, sorry.
Yeah.
It's just it's their reality.
Society.
So
it is. Yeah. Well, it's a perception versus reality.
Exactly.
It's, until you alter their reality, it's going to be their perception. And the only way to do it is to do what he did.
Mm-hmm. And he was just talking I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Chris had to step away for a second. He was just talking about the type of apparatus they had in Richmond, which you didn't get to see, or that you can kind of see in the video that I did, is they have one hand kind of holds the steering wheel, the other hand, or the other, however your grip is, like the guy that drove the car with me, he had a device that connects to his prosthesis, which is not a hand, it's just a little device that can hold, kind of grip things, not real tight, and he uses that to control the brakes and the gas. But you also have a different type of steering wheel now that's being created. Am I correct? Because I know I saw a whole different forgive me, but there's a YouTube video of Mario that is really cool.
Right.
And there's this device that kind of looks like, and I'm probably getting this wrong because I'm not good at the kind of thing you're doing, Mario, but it kind of looks like a very small floor jack attached to the steering wheel mount that they mounted his hands on, and it kind of turns it into a steering wheel. And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So,
the paddles. Yeah.
so is that kind of what you're developing now versus what they used in Richmond?
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what I developed originally so when I originally developed it, I didn't really expect the response that I did. I mean, I made the first video of it being used and all that, and I more so made it to actually generate sponsorship and put it out to send to sponsors and all that. And I got all of a sudden messages from all around the world and languages that I had to translate on Google Translate and just different things.
That's
Are you
awesome.
cussing me out? What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like,
What are
what's
those
going
symbols?
on?
What is this?
What is that about my mother, sir? How dare you?
Yeah, so I was just like, and everyone's just super interested. They're like, man, is this going to be available for us to purchase? Are you going to start producing them? Blah blah blah, and like the whole 9 yards. I'm just like, I was a little overwhelmed, and at the time I was still pretty young, so I didn't know the process. Like I said, of creating at that point, it was gone now from I created it to work for myself, but now to create it to be universally adaptable for anybody to use across the world, for me to ship it out as a package and expect them to install it without doing all the invasive things that I had to do to my car to change it to actually modify it and use it for myself. There's European cars to Japanese cars to American cars, they all vary as far as steering angles and steering radiuses, and just so there's a lot of different things that come into play when you change manufacturers in general.
Yeah.
So I've concentrated on taking that wheel that you're talking about online and making it so it's now universally adaptable to where, say, if you three or us three wanted to go to the track together, all we have to do is put it on a quick release steering wheel, like a quick release for a regular race car, for F1 or whatever type of racing there is. It pops off, pull the wheel off, regular steering wheel, put my system on, and I go out and drive, do my laps, and then all of a sudden come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long does it take?
The steering wheel for if you were going to NASCAR or something like that, they have.
Yeah.
No,
seconds.
No, it was seconds.
Yeah. So I would love to, but we have to make sure we pick one of the states that I'm allowed in.
Oh yeah, there's not many.
Yeah, there's
Richmond's definitely. I mean, Virginia,
Yeah, I was asked
Virginia
to leave
is
Virginia.
not one of them because he lived in Virginia. He grew up in Virginia.
Grew up there, and I thought for sure,
a long time ago.
Natural born son, they want me back. Nope.
No, they really don't want him there. I think
little
that's
situation
really
with a missing El Camino from '92. We're not going to get into, but I mean, Mario, this is something that I don't use the term revolutionize lightly. You've not only revolutionized what can be done for, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Paralympic athletes.
Right.
What can be done for the industry as a whole, dude?
No kidding.
What does that feel like, man?
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Like I said,
Bruh, don't be modest. Don't be modest.
I don't know any. I don't know. I'm not good at talking about myself, I guess. But
this
is just. It's just if I'm not going to do it, who else is? That's kind of the way I look at it.
I love it.
And I know how good it feels for me to be able to get out on track. That was the most normal I felt my entire injury. It was the first time I was sitting on the line, and the guy next to me had 4 wheels and a steering wheel and a motor and a car, and that's essentially it. And then his knowledge of how to go faster on the track. And at that point, it's like he didn't even know if I was in the wheelchair or not. So it's just, all right, he's got bigger balls and he's better at going fast.
Yeah, Daddy.
So
that was going to be my next question. What did it feel like when you first got out there and you just
to get somebody who's not paralyzed?
Yeah, and you just floored it. You just smoked somebody's ass. What did it feel like?
It felt normal. It was the most normal I've ever felt. It was just like, this is what I know. This is what I've been doing. I haven't gone this slow in my entire life when I first got into a chair. So like I've never been in the house creating behind the computer. I don't watch TV still.
Right.
I can't. I'm always outside, whether I was on a bicycle, skateboard, scooter, skate, didn't really matter. I was just going fast. I hated walking because it was too slow.
No excuses. Play like a champion.
It's too slow. Walking's just too slow. He never needed to walk. Because it's too slow. He needed wheels. That's why he's paralyzed.
Let me tell you what.
He needed to go faster.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I absolutely love it. I mean, I have it. First off, dude, and I'm not making light of this. It is an honor to actually be able to talk to you, to hear about the inventions, to hear your
I
story.
appreciate that.
And we appreciate it.
And anybody at Ford, Chevy, Toyota,
I mean,
I don't care who you're with, you need to
Tesla.
Tesla, especially Tesla. Hello.
I mean, the Elon Musk he would be all over this. The Elon Musk system.
Yeah.
He would be all. I mean, this is, you talk about revolutionize.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't mean to stomp all over the design and creation, but I keep thinking of what's next. What is the next evolution or revolution of what you're going to do?
Well, I've got a few different sets of controls. So, like you guys were talking about the Paralympics and such. So, there's a simulator version, and that's ideally the main goal with those is to get them in a rehab center so people can start playing with them, start working their strength up, and getting accommodated to the system. And then from there, they can take it to wherever they want, whether it's sim racing or actually realistically getting on track. And then from there, I've got rally controls, drift controls, set up for go-kart, set up for UTV, just kind of encapsulated the whole market. So anyone, whatever they want to race, they can go do. And then from there, the next step is just to start creating events around the system for not only able-bodied individuals, but differently abled individuals, so they can combine. Because there's no difference. We're all differently abled in certain ways. And you guys have joked about it, where some are just more physically apparent than others. And some are mentally disabled or differently abled, and some are visually and physically impaired. So that's where I would like to just be able to create an actually extreme event or extreme venues and be able to allow people to come out and experience what's available to them with the technologies on the market now, whether it's just only my stuff or there's people that are in chairs that are doing amazing things now, and like everybody that's doing backflips for Nitro Circus and all that stuff. So it's crazy. So I want them to be able to see that and be exposed to that and know the life's not over, and they're not limited by whatever the doctors tell them, because most people believe whatever their mentors or their people, the most influential people around them are saying, whether it's their parents or friends or doctors or whoever it may be, and they believe it. And that's the most terrible thing in life. And the worst thing to waste in life is talent. So there's so much talent that goes to waste because of typically finances, but a lot of the time bad decisions as well. And maybe my decision was a bad decision. Maybe it was a decision that I was supposed to make so I can create these controls and create opportunities for other individuals and myself and everything else. But to be honest, I'm just going with the flow and just trying to follow whatever doors God's opening and whatever is not, and walking in the right direction and keep things moving, because it's just being passion driven, and that's what drove the controls to be created, is my passion to go fast, and I wanted to keep going faster, and that's what they allow me to do, is just try to be at a normal level and even better than I could before, essentially. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I'm just, things are getting a little bit more crazy now that the word's getting out and more eyeballs are starting to pay attention, and I enjoy it. I think it's all happening all in God's time, I guess, because it's a very interesting, like just this year alone, it's been 1 year that it's been the most different year I've ever had in my life, because I'm used to racing. I'm used to going after sponsors at the typical end of the season, the way it works and the window and the sponsorship and all that. And so this year I had to kind of just decide that I wasn't going to do that. I was going to focus on creating the controls so they are universally adaptable. They are available for the general public, and making it so that was the next step in the industry. And then for me, it'll also open up some doors as well for being able to race and being able to help people race and just give back to the community and just give back to different individuals the freedom that they thought they lost, or they essentially did lose, but can now be re-granted back to them. So
Mario, you mentioned something just a minute ago about how the controls make you drive better than you did before. Immobilization aside, mentally, what is it like using those controls versus when you would drive regularly?
Well, for me, it's very intuitive. So a lot of people look at them. I mean, I did a shoot with Red Bull, and a buddy of mine, he's a Red Bull racer as well. He drives rallycross, and he's a multi-champion. And he was supposed to actually try the controls, and he ended up not wanting to try them because he just got overwhelmed and just didn't think he can handle it. But
wow.
What the
they're very
yeah.
So I was like, the whole point of this thing got blown away. But no. So it was I don't know. For me, being that I live life every day with my hands, it's very intuitive, I think. But it's also the way that I designed them is it's all off of just gravity and physics. So when you brake, you're pushing forward to brake. When you're shifting, it's pulling back and forward, just like a sequential shifter would. When you're giving it a throttle, you're just twisting like a motorcycle, which is, I mean, for me, that's kind of natural, but something that maybe take a little bit to get used to. But for the most part, everything is all happening within your two hands while you're steering. So you're able to do more stuff than you typically can when you're letting go of the wheel, or grabbing the gear shifter, grabbing the e-brake or the handbrake, using your feet to do the pedals. So instead of hand, eye, feet, and just every coordination you need, you just need your hands and eyes and brain. So I think a lot of people are going to be surprised once they try them that are even able-bodied. I'm really curious to hear their opinion and input on what to think of how they actually operate and how they are able to apply them, because it's and depending on the situation, it's very simple in my opinion. So, and you're able to do things that you typically would, like if you're mid corner and having to grab a shift, your hands are already on the wheel. It's like having 5 hands and not needing fingers. So it's really weird to explain it that way, I guess. But
but I get it. I can see that. I can see it in my mental eye. And
his mental eye.
And you know what? I don't want to force any suggestions on anyone, but we all know that Little E is not the greatest driver in the world.
No, I'm not. I'll just claim it. I'm not.
So
okay.
I think she should be one that tests this.
Oh, please. That would be amazing. You know, and I can't drive stick shift, so
it needs to be on a closed track. It needs to be on a closed track.
Yes, it needs to be on a closed track.
Lots of extinguishers.
And like, you know, maybe
bumpers. Yes.
Pillows if possible.
Yes, we need lots of like clouds. I mean, Michelin Man like clouds, fat. I mean, no. It could be. I'm not gonna say it because I love you. It could be horrible.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. It'd be awesome. That's why I want to create the event, because I actually had a driving school that I created a few years ago before racing got more serious. And there's actually a video on YouTube. We had a ranch that we had access to with 60 acres, and we had 10. We bought 10 E30 BMWs and equipped them, and I had females, paraplegics, quadriplegics, they're all out there, and we were just teaching them just general driver control. And 3 of the drivers hadn't been back on the track because they were just afraid to go on track or get back on the road because of all the variables that are involved with driving in general and people that suck at driving, especially in California.
Lily.
So
I'm not denying it.
So
actually, California does have some really bad drivers.
Oh, God. Yeah. And actually, you know what? I did drive a convertible in California, in L.A., on the highway when I was only 17.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't know enough yet.
No. I wasn't as stupid as I am now.
I always tell the rental company, I don't need a car. I'll just Uber. Yeah. I don't even want to drive. I'm the best driver on the planet. Not really, because I got. Speaking of, I need to talk to you about helping me fix the speeding ticket I just got.
Oh no.
So wait a minute, hang on, Mario. You just dropped a bombshell on us.
Yeah. What is this driving school?
What is this driving school you got here, son?
I didn't see this video.
Yeah.
I missed that video.
Now tell me, but is this nonprofit? Is this just something you do on the side? What is this?
No, I actually had to shut it down, unfortunately, just due to my partner and I not seeing eye to eye.
I understand.
And it was just it was an unfortunate thing because everyone was. I mean, the cars obviously had to have brakes, but nobody wanted to get out of the car because they had to sit down one way or the other. So we were taking breaks in between, letting the cars cool down and everything else. But long story short, it didn't work out between us, and the owner of the property ended up selling it. And it was just an unfortunate deal. But
I will forget those guys then. All right, so let's talk about what you got going on and how people can help, because I mean,
or how they can be helped by this too, because it sounds like his goal is to help others, which I love, because I mean, he took a year off racing to help other people. How amazing is that? How many drivers you know do that? Because I don't know any.
This dude is my new hero.
Oh, he
is absolutely my hero. So
I'm seriously enamored by him. Yes.
If I'm someone who's looking to get the paddles, to get the driving apparatus, or if I'm an organization that's listening to this and is like, you know what, I would love to help support, how do both?
I'm as far as getting a hold of me, or how to do?
Absolutely.
Get in touch with you. Yes.
I think. I mean, how do we do it, man? How do we help? How do we buy?
So I have the website. The website's still kind of under construction just because I've been focused on the actual engineering side of things and working on that computer. But I've had to wear a lot of hats just doing everything by myself. But they'll be available. The first sets are actually being cut right now, the first run of the controls. So they'll be done this next week.
Oh, that's
and they'll be available online. The website's KESindustries.com. And
that's KESindustries.com. Okay.
Yep, I keep them spinning. And for the most part, you can shoot me an email. I have all my contact information on there. My social media is usually the quickest, easiest way to get a hold of me. And it's just my name, Mario Bonfante _37, which is my number. I'm on Instagram.
Hang on, I'll follow you right now. And then I want to talk about the Keep It Spinning, because if only you could have seen the dance that Lil E just did. I want to know where the Keep It Spinning came from. I'm not picking on you. I'm just making observations. All right, so what was that again? Mario?
Bonfante.
Mario Bonfante.
We got to say his name right. For those of you who didn't get to listen to us at the beginning, because
I'm from South Boston. I butcher everything.
Yeah, we didn't say his last name right.
Mario Bonfante 30_37.
You got it.
Got it. I'm all over. I'm following homeboy right now.
We have to pick on each other because we pronounce things very strangely on the show.
I just see everything that he does and everything that he's going to do in the future. First off, it's going to be a rocket ship.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dude, you're going to go nuclear.
Just remember us when you do.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you for taking the time to sit down and chat with us.
I appreciate it. Racing Junk's one of my favorite sites to go on and browse and wish and dream, and can't wait to be able to afford race cars when I can. So it's just, it's an honor.
Hey, that's just the next step. God's going to have you helping everybody else, and then he's going to help you.
Can't you get him a discount?
I don't even get a discount. They won't even give me a discount. Can you believe that?
Well, I mean, they won't let me on the site. They
sort of do, but they limit Chris's time on the site.
They really don't. I mean, I'm not even allowed to be in or near anything that I can lift, which I mean, I think is kind of offensive. They just don't let you near the cars they're selling. That's all. They're afraid of what you'll do to them, or you'll steal them. I mean, water under the bridge. It was years ago. Okay, I gave it back. It was a few years later, but I gave it back.
Was it the same condition?
No, but I gave it back. And look, it's no deposit, no return. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
So, I mean, Mario, dude, first off, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for what you're going to do. The plan that God has laid out in front of you is so amazing.
Yes.
I know it's going to touch you. I know it's going to touch millions of others.
Yes.
Please keep going.
Yes, don't stop for nothing. Please
let us know what we can do to help. If there are any sponsors out there listening that would like to reach out, KESindustries.com. Follow him on social media, Mario Bonfante _37. Now, is that your Twitter and your Instagram?
To be honest, I'm like I said, I'm terrible with technology, so I'm doing my best to keep up with just Facebook and Instagram. But
I love it. It's okay.
Terrible with technology, my left foot. He just said
he's not terrible with technology. He just doesn't worry about spending all his time on social media. And you know what? For your age, that is fantastic, because too many people at that young age, they are just all about social media, and then they can't do anything else.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell duck lips are. I got the chat snaps the other week, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to use it.
I got rid of Snapchat a long time ago. I can't even figure it out. I give up.
I'm not 15 and still in school drinking Starbucks, which I don't get in class. Oh God, don't get me started. Mario, man, seriously, we're so excited, and I don't know if Brian or Shane has had a chance to talk to you about.
They both have.
About the last podcast. Yeah. They sung your praises like you've never heard. What you're doing, I'm sure you've seen by now the impact that it's doing. And for anybody out there that has any inquiries, please reach out. I mean, dude, before you get just swamped, feel the love, let the folks touch you, and then turn it over to a firm and let them run into the ground.
I hope so. I need some help. So I need some good people around me. I've had plenty of interesting people that I've ran into in LA, and plastic people that are. My manager took advantage of me last year in Finland, Scandinavia, and ended up letting me leave me homeless there. So I was kind of interested.
Oh my goodness!
And that's a totally different story. Yeah. So I'm just. But anyways.
Well,
he ended up taking $100,000. But
oddly enough, Lily and I are both looking for gainful employment, and so if you need a PR team.
Chris is just trying to use
Hey, man.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and give you our pitch. We're not the best, we're not the greatest, but we're at least here.
We're at least here.
No, and I appreciate that. Means more than you know. So
see, that's a tagline. Right?
Hey, I just want to tell your story. I'm just excited to tell your story. So we appreciate you giving us the opportunity. I mean, literally everyone I spoke to there at the Adaptive Motorsports at Southside. I mean, everybody was singing your praises. I mean, I know not everyone that was there knew you, but the people that I spoke to, there were about 4 people there that I spoke to, and one on the phone, because Shane didn't make it. But we did speak for 30 minutes on the phone, and I couldn't get him to shut up. And Shane, I love you. I miss you. I'm sorry you didn't make it. But they were singing your praises, and so everybody was missing you. And I even spoke to a gentleman for a long time that is an online friend of Mario's who is incredible and started his own organization to help others as well. So it's amazing the impact. And he did that kind of from the influence of Mario. So the fact that Mario is making such a big difference in so many people's lives in other ways you might not even know is just incredible to me. So.
That's the great thing, is the stuff that you don't see.
Exactly.
And that will come back to you tenfold. So once again, KESindustries.com. Mario Bonfante _37. Please go follow. Please go support. Dude, amazing story.
I think he's going to be a gold medal winning para athlete someday.
That's not even an afterthought.
I don't even know why they don't have this in the X Games. I mean,
They will. You know what? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Everything is just a matter of
time. I'm shooting for the world championship, to be honest. In all honesty, that's where I want to be.
You are a world
champion.
What are you talking about? You're already there. You're a world champion.
I would not bet against this dude if the Sharks that
I don't want the title.
Right now
I don't just.
You are a world champion.
I just want the. I'm not looking for any titles. I'm not looking for any type of praise or anything like that. I just want to see how far I can take it, and if I can take it to the top of the world level on the World Rallycross stage, then that's where I'm trying to get to. And so personally, on a personal level, that's what I created the controls for. On a selfish level, I guess you'd say, but that's who I'm trying to take down. Like when I was a kid, it was Rossi. Now it's Petter Solberg or whoever else is holding the FIA World Rallycross title. And any other one that I can have access to. So Zanardi, I'm coming for him, and everybody else that's just involved in the industry. It's just Paralympics is going to be great. I can't wait till that's all come to fruition. But for now, I don't believe in limits. I don't believe in any excuses. So I'm coming for you if you have legs, if you don't have legs, if you have amputee, or if you're quadriplegic, paraplegic, if you're able-bodied walking around, you're the best dancer in the world, I'm going to go take on the dance floor with you. But I just I want to dance with the best and have a good time, and I don't care if there's a title behind it. I just want to make sure that I can push my personal abilities to the furthest extent, and that's the reason I created the controls, so they can do that for me. And everybody else that wants to do the same for themselves, they could go do normal track days, or they can go race the best in the world. And I think they're finally there, and I'm happy to be able to allow others to indulge in that as well, because the limits are only we create in our own mind, and we got to be able to break past those barriers and boundaries and figure out what we want and just go after it. Because I'm not into the whole title thing. I'm not into all that stuff, but I'm definitely into going fast and challenging myself with the best in the world. And if that's somebody that's a para or somebody that's a amputee or somebody that's able-bodied, doesn't matter to me. I want to be the best person that I can personally be. And I know there's always somebody better. So that's the reality in racing in general. It's cut dry. There's
You
real
ask
no
any
other.
champion out there, the one thing they're scared of the most is the person who's most determined.
And
Mario
that's him.
Bonfante.
That's Mario.
Dude, thank you. Hey, man, please keep in touch. Let us know how things go and let us know how we can help. And we are honored to have had you on Behind the Wheel here on Racing Junk with us.
No, it's been an honor talking to you guys, and I love your guys' energy and it's just everything about it. Love the support, and I appreciate it. Look forward to keeping in touch, and likewise, you guys need to reach out and need me to help in any way, or if I can help in any way, I'd love to. So, just let me know.
Oh, we will.
Thank you,
Mario, thank you so much, man. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, you guys stay blessed. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. I mean, okay, so we've talked to a lot of people here on Behind the Wheel,
Right.
on racingjunk.com.
I like the way Chris says that, so I'll let him say it.
That's right. I'm like the Barry White of the podcast. Yeah, baby.
I don't know about all that.
No,
But okay.
Probably more like the Wary White. So we've had some great motivational individuals, some great people who've accomplished many things. I mean, we've had world champions. We've had innovators. We've had people who've done firsts, which, years from now, the history books will reflect this is the person that did that first. Mario is probably, by far, the best one that we've had to date. What
He's
he's
definitely
done,
the most inspiring. I mean, this guy, I've made excuses as to why I have not gotten things done in my life.
Yeah.
And now I mean.
Ryan's mad at me because I didn't paint the deck tonight. And I'm like,
You have no excuse now.
I got no excuse. Mario would have done it. He'd
Yeah,
have
he would've.
been like, Chris, forget you, man. I got this.
Yeah. He'd be up there doing it right
With
now.
his
finishing it.
paddles and his steering wheels, he would have created something. Here's the thing I'm scared about.
He would have created a robot to do it for you.
That's what I'm scared about. Him and Watson are going to get together.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Watson are going to get together. We're all going to be assimilated, and we're going to be working for him. I'm going to be digging up turnips.
I'm not scared of that, though, because Mario is the coolest guy. I'll work for him. I will work for him. I'll have no problem with
but
that.
what happens when he gets together with Watson? I'm scared about that because
I don't think he's going to trust Watson. I think we're okay.
my biggest fear is alligators and being assimilated by a giant Coke machine looking damn Watson type of thing. You know that's going to happen.
Machine.
It is. I mean, think about it. You've seen the movies. It's going to happen. We're going to be part of it. And I'm going to be crying. Look at me. I'm too pretty. I am too pretty to be taken apart by one of them little things. I can't go to prison. I just can't. I'm just saying. But I am excited about what Mario's building.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see where it goes and what he does. And I mean, just the fact that he took the time to sit down and talk to us, it's not really reflective right now. It'll be reflective years from now when
10 years from now, I'm telling you, he's going to be on all the news programs saying how he's made it possible for every driver that couldn't drive because they have some kind of disability or the world's view of a disability.
Yeah. To be
or the
able
world
to
telling
drive.
them, or even the DMV now takes your driver's license for your vision. I mean, they just as easily could take your driver's license for a disability, like an
the
amputation
DMV
or
takes
something.
licenses for many reasons.
Yeah, they want to take Chris's, but that's a whole
They've taken
nother
a few
ball
of
of
them.
wax.
Yeah, it's a whole nother ball.
And he can't help you, Chris. Sorry.
No.
But
But no, I mean, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He is making it possible for people who are immobile to now be mobile.
exactly, he's inspiring people who have been afraid to do something because doctors or nurses or any of those have told them, this is your life now. You can't do what you always did, to saying, I can do anything I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly where he took it at 17. I mean, I don't know any 17-year-olds that would say, they'd be like, okay, well, I'm immobile. I can't. I mean, he even inspired a young man at the Richmond event he was paralyzed around the same age, to not only drive an ATV again, but he's able to shoot competitively.
Right.
And he's not able to use his arms. So that's amazing to me. And they're not afraid of anything. That's one thing I loved about every person I met at this event. Nobody's afraid of anything.
Right.
Nobody
So,
said, I'm going to stop.
everybody who's handy capable, every wounded warrior, every individual who thought, I can't do this, guess what? You now have an
can.
avenue to do it.
Yep. So
So-
no more excuses.
I mean, just the fact that we got a chance to talk to him.
I know. I'm so humbled.
Ellen.
I mean, just ridiculous.
No. Kudos. Oh, yeah, no, I'm humble. Well, my ego's pretty huge.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
So I'm not going to say I'm humbled. I'm going to say it was appropriate.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, kudos, man. That's a huge get.
It's all due to Adaptive Motorsports. I thank them for letting me come out to
Brian
this event. There's no way I could
Hannaford,
have done
Shane
this
Mills. Shane, we love you.
Yeah.
You got to take us to
Indy, please. Me and Chris want to go.
I sure hate it for you. I sure hate it for you because you know how I am on trips. I'm a diva. So
He is.
I can't help it. Look at me though. I mean, look at me when I get in
Such a
public. What
diva.
happens? People
a
want
diva.
autographs.
Oh, please.
They want. Okay, maybe I dreamed that up.
Yeah, you drew that up. Sorry.
But if you've ever seen Dawson's Creek,
He doesn't look anything like him. What is he talking about? Who do you look like on Dawson's Creek? The fish in the pond that they're fishing?
where are you
Is
going
what
with
look
that?
like?
No. See, you went. You took
Are
a
you
left
in
turn.
the creek?
I am next to a creek. That's where I was going with that.
Oh, okay.
My house is next to a creek.
So now you're on Dawson's Creek.
Now,
Okay.
my parole officer says I can't really announce where, but there's the correlation. I'm James Vanderbeek.
Oh, okay.
He just has prettier hair. I got better bone structure. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. So we are excited for Mario. We're excited for Adaptive Motorsports.
Yeah.
Please go support those guys. Keep it spinning. KESindustries.com. And, of course, Mario Bonfante _37. Follow him on Instagram. And we look forward to the next. It's going to be hard to top the next one.
I know.
It's going to be hard to top
I don't even know where
this
I'm going to go the next direction.
Dude,
I think we've reached our end now.
You know I love you like Kanye loves Kanye. It's going to be tough for you to top this.
I know.
My expectations
So
are
anybody
high.
out there that has a really great guest in mind, please let me know.
I'm going to call my buddy Jeb. I'm going to call my cousin Jeb. Jeb Burton.
Oh, Jeb's going to be better than them? I don't know. Sorry,
No,
love
he
you,
ain't going to
Jeb.
be better than that. Jeb, I
Sorry.
love you, and you know this, but you ain't going to be better than Mario Bonfante, son. I'm going to tell you right now. I know you got a hunting show on some channel, but guess what? I ain't going to be as good as that shit. No, we are looking forward to this year. Lots of changes, lots of great stuff coming. You can already see it. And just follow us, racingjunk.com. Follow the podcast. Follow Lily. She got all types of Instagrams and chat snaps and
I don't have any
twatters.
Snapchats.
I ain't got that neither. I can't do it. I'm not 15. I don't care about having Starbucks in my class at school. Oh, did I just offend somebody?
You probably did. Cut that out.
Oh, I do it so regularly.
I know you do.
But no, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Behind the Wheel on racingjunk.com.
Good day.